Welcome to my YouTube channel. We have what we call an irregular shape here. So this is a question on irregular shape. So it's something that does not have a shape. So we're just gonna try to answer the question irregular shape. So this is mensuration. However, when you have mensuration, remember they can ask you about the volume, the area, and the total surface area of a particular shape. But this time around, we are going to talk about an irregular shape, or we call it mid-ordinate rule. So what does it say? It says that the area is the same as, it's very simple. You're going to say the first number, the first plus last ordinate divided by, you divide it by 2 plus the sum multiplied by the distance. Okay, so this is what we have. So very, very important. You don't really arrange the numbers, you take them as they are. Okay, so now the question says here, an irregular figure with one straight-sided is divided into 6 equal parts of length of 20 centimeter each. The ordinates dividing these divisions have the length of 820 up until 154. The question says determine the area. So what we're going to do here is to come and write the formula as we have already written. It says that the first plus the last plus sum divided by 2. We are only dividing this by 2. So the first one here, if we can check it, the first one is, we're going to say 80. Then the last one, it's 154 plus 154 divided by 2 plus, so which means that we have taken these 2, you don't repeat them in the question, then that will be 120 plus 137 plus 145 plus 150 plus 148. Then you multiply it by the distance, which is 20 centimeter. Then from here, you are going to use a calculator. When you use a calculator, you will realize that the area is the same as 16,340, depending on which one it is. Now this one is centimeter, so it has to be in centimeter squared. And make sure that you check this one. They need to correspond. If ever they don't correspond, then you can divide so that they can be in the same unit, so to say. So this is the first one. So the question says, what are we looking for? Determine the area using the mid-ordinate rule. The mid-ordinate rule is that you don't arrange whatever that you've been given in order. You work on it as it is, and make sure that by the time you are done here, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So when you count all of them, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, they need to be the same. If they're not the same, then it is incorrect. Make sure that they are the same each and every time. The second one, it says that a graph goes through these coordinates. We have 0, 0,5, 1, 1,5, 2, 2,5, and 3. At this case, you are not given the distance, but the question says determine the area. Determine the area between these, between the curve, the x value, and the line x is equal to 0. Okay, so remember, what you need to understand is that when we are talking about the distance, it has to be the same. The distance has to be the same, and you're going to get the distance in x coordinate coordinate. That is where you're going to get this thing. So now if you can check the x coordinate here, it is 0, 0.5, 1. Then you can see the trend that here, which is means that you can just say the distance, it's 0.5 minus 0, which is equal to 0.5. So now these y's, those are the coordinates that we are going to focus on. Remember, the formula says the area is normally the first plus last, then divided by 2 plus sum, then multiplied by the distance. Okay, remember, we don't change anything. What is the first one? The first one is 2. What is the last one? Plus 10. Then we divide it by 2 plus the sum. So when we add the sum, that will be 4. That will be 4. That will be plus 6. Then plus 7 plus 5 plus 9. So remember, we do not repeat. We do not repeat 10 and 2 unless if they are repeating, but those are the first and the last, so we don't repeat them. Then multiply by 0.5. So remember, they didn't tell us that the distance is 0.5. We had to use the length of the value of x. So when you use the calculator, you're going to get 18.5 units squared. Then you add that, they'll give you 3 or 4 marks for that. So that will be mean that this is 1, then 2, 3, and then 4 marks for that. Remember, in each and every exam, this question is there. There's no way that they're not going to ask you this question. It is going to be part of the exam. Okay, then the last one here. This is the last one. Or that is the one that I was. Yeah, this is the last one. So now the last one says the coordinates of the point. We have that, and then make use of mid-ordinate rule. Okay, they say that make the mid-ordinate rule to determine the area. So now what we are going to do, remember what I said in the previous example, is that when you have the area, what we normally do, what are we going to do here? It is very simple. We're going to say the area, it's the first plus the last divided by 2 plus the sum multiplied by the distance. Remember, our distance, we normally get it from the value of x. So if you can check here, it's 0.369. Therefore, the difference is 3. Okay, then if you can check here, what is our first term? It's 0. What is our last term? It's 0 plus 0, then divided by 2 plus 3.5 plus 9 plus 14.8 plus 13.4 plus 10, then multiplied by 3. Then when you use a calculator, you will realize that it is actually 152.1 units, and then you are done. They're going to give you marks for that. I hope that makes sense and it is very clear. We have the last question here. The question says the mid-ordinates in millimeter of a regular metal sheet. It's 42, 37 up until 46. Calculate the distance if the area is. So this time around, we are given the area, then we need to get the distance. So now, as always, we're going to say the area, it's first plus last divided by 2 plus sum multiplied by the distance. Okay, then what we have here, the area is 2100. It's equal to, that will be the first one. The first one will be 42, then plus the last one will be 46. That is, the last one will be 46, then divided by 2 as always, then plus, we're going to add the remaining, that is 37 plus 50 plus 73, and then plus 48, plus 64 plus 34. Then, which means that we're going to multiply it by d. Then when we get to this stage, what we're going to do, we are going to add all of them. When you use a calculator, you're going to add all of them. That will be, when you use a calculator, that will be 2100. It's equal to, when we add each and every one here and then we have divided by 2, remember you only divide the first 2, not everything. Then that will be 2000, that will be 350. So that's what we have, that it's 350 d. Then we divide by 350 both sides. When we divide by 360 both sides, that will be, the value of d will be 6 millimeter. Then you are done. So these are the two questions that they're going to ask you. The first one, they can just ask you in terms of the area, then they can use different format. And then the last one, they can give you the area and then you can get the distance. Then you are done. They'll give you 4 marks. And this question is coming in the exam. There's no way that they're not going to ask you this question in the exam. So make sure that you really understand it. If you have any question, then you can let me know. Thank you so much.